Tessa just got to college, and she's already homesick. Her boyfriend Noah drops her off at the dorms while Mom delivers the usual speech. No parties, no boys, stay focused. Sure, Mom. Her new roommate Steph is basically the complete opposite. Loud, wild, and absolutely determined to drag this shy bookworm into the real world. But Tessa? She's perfectly happy with her books, thank you very much. That evening, Tessa is washing up in the communal showers. She's rinsing off all the exhaustion of a long school day. Wrapping nothing but a towel around her bare body, she tries to sneak back unnoticed. She slips into her room, but what is he doing here? This stranger has caught her practically undressed. Did he get the wrong door? The modest girl asks him to leave. She needs to change. But the shameless guy refuses to go. He'll just turn around and won't peek at the freshman. Sure. And then Steph comes back into the room. Phew, is he her boyfriend? No, he's just her friend. Tess demands he be thrown out. The upperclassman suggests something better. Hang out with all three of them. But the stranger can't picture this shy girl at their party. And he and Steph leave together, leaving the undressed wallflower to sit there bored. On his way out, the stranger returns Tessa's copy of The Great Gatsby and spoils the ending for her. But Tess corrects him. The jerk didn't even understand what the book was about. Tess tries to get just 1 second of peace and quiet to study. But even at the cafe, she runs into this shameless stranger, and just then he catches Tessa's shy glance. But the guy simply doesn't pay the quiet girl any attention. Yet she watches him walk away. Could she actually like him? On her first day of class, Tessa manages to make friends with this sweet guy Landon. Later, the roommate tracks Tessa down in the library. She invites the shy girl to come to a party again tonight. And so she can't say no, the upperclassman takes her textbooks hostage. Looks like the bookworm has no choice. While Tessa picks out the most modest outfit she can find, Steph is already dressed in something revealing. Is that really what people wear to parties? She advises the shy girl to wear something a little more daring too, but Tessa wants to stay true to herself. And so the two girls show up at the party. Among the crowd, Tessa spots that same stranger with his arm around some beautiful girl. Steph introduces her to Hardin Scott and Molly, and this is Tessa. Zed immediately takes an interest in the shy girl and offers her a seat next to him. Another guy offers Tessa a drink, but the quiet girl announces she doesn't drink. Hardin's friend mocks her for it. So without a second thought, Tessa takes a swig from the bottle. Except Molly knows how to take things further and starts making out with Hardin right in front of everyone. Then they decide to play truth or dare. Tessa thought this was a kid's game. For that, she's put on the spot. She chooses truth, and Molly hits her with a question that's anything but childish. The most insane place she's ever been with a guy. Tessa stays quietly silent. Is she actually a virgin? If she has nothing to share, she'll have to do a dare. Suddenly, Jace dares her to kiss the handsome Hardin, and he doesn't seem to mind another kiss at all. He slowly approaches the shy girl and looks straight into her eyes. Do you want to do this? Molly is ready to film it, but Tessa announces she'll play by her own rules and walks out with her head held high. Has Hardin been rejected for the first time? His friends laugh at the would-be Casanova. Taking advantage of the break, Tessa calls her boyfriend Noah. She shares her impressions of the wild party and how she had alcohol for the very first time. But Noah judges her. He lectures Tessa like she's still in school. Without getting the support she wanted, she hangs up. Tessa goes back to the party, but there's nobody to talk to here. Then she spots a bookshelf. This copy of Wuthering Heights is full of bookmarks, and Tessa opens one of them. And then he appears from behind her. Is this actually Hardin's room? He caught Tessa in the act and recites quotes about love from the book by heart. Tessa knows her Bronte. Has he actually read it? Suddenly, he takes her by the hand. Are they still playing? Because Tessa owes him a kiss. The girl is enjoying this game and slowly starts to lean toward Hardin with those soft lips. But at the last second, Tessa snaps out of it and decides to leave. Looks like Molly has now spotted a rival in her. Running away, Tessa can't believe she almost kissed Hardin. Apparently, he can't believe he didn't manage to kiss her either. In the middle of the night, Noah sends her a message. Tessa has let him down. Because mom told her not to hang out with the roommate. She's a bad influence. What is there even to say to this guy? The next morning, at a literature lecture, Tessa sits again with her friend Landon. And then a late Hardin walks into the auditorium. The lecturer asks for his thoughts on Pride and Prejudice. Hardin has read it and thinks the main character needs to chill. She's waiting for true love, but it doesn't exist. Love is just a set of desired qualities. But Tessa disagrees. Elizabeth turned down Mr. Darcy because he treated her poorly. They argue over the book. But why does this feel so much like the other night? After class, Hardin approaches her to talk. But Tess immediately makes one thing clear. Nothing is going to happen between them. She has a boyfriend. But Hardin wasn't counting on anything. They were just discussing a book, right? He made Tessa look like a naive girl and walked off with that smug smile. All of Tessa's frustration gets poured out on Landon. How dare he say love doesn't exist? That's just insane. Landon says this is very typical of Hardin. He knows the guy well. They're practically family. His mom is dating the dean, Hardin's father. He's just a provocateur. Tessa is sure she won't fall for any of his tricks, right? That evening, Tessa keeps Steph company while she gets another tattoo. She and the tattoo artist try to talk Tessa into getting something done too. But the shy girl is scared of her mom's reaction. She's planned out her daughter's whole life, practically mapped out her marriage to Noah. Stopping for coffee in the morning, Tessa runs into Hardin again. Is he reading a book? Today, he spotted her right away and decided to come over. In the same social circle, they simply can't keep ignoring each other. So Hardin suggests starting fresh and becoming friends. As a peace offering, he offers to show Tessa some special place, but the girl turns him down. They should keep their distance. Tessa walks away from Hardin again. But why does she so badly want to stay? And yet here they are, riding together in that cool black car of this bad boy's. And the way they're looking at each other, sure, totally just friends. But why has he brought her to a deserted forest? He invites her to go further, deep into the woods. Through the thicket, they emerge at a lake. Hardin just wanted to show Tessa his favorite place. And then the guy starts getting undressed. What is he doing? He's simply suggesting they swim together. Without pants or hesitation, Hardin leaps into the water. Standing on the dock in her modest dress, Tessa isn't sure how to join the handsome guy. So Hardin offers to let her borrow his t-shirt. Tess agrees, but asks him not to look. She takes off her dress and changes right there on the bank of the lake, with Hardin watching. He peeks. Maybe she's not so modest after all. And now, Tessa is standing there in his t-shirt. It smells just like him. Hardin pays her the compliment that his shirt looks better on her. Well, with that figure, of course. The girl dips her bare legs into the water right in front of his face, and the guy, putting his hands on her waist, helps Tessa slide down into the cool water. It's so strange that they're completely alone at this lake. They open up to each other, and Tessa decides to ask, who does he love most in the world? Easy, Hardin loves himself. He asks Tessa about her boyfriend. She says Noah is just very sweet to her, but Hardin thinks that just being sweet is boring. He swims closer to Tess and asks her to hold her breath. Then they dive under the water together and come back up side by side. Tessa looks so beautiful in the wet shirt, in the golden rays of the sunset, that Hardin can't take his eyes off her. This makes Tessa uneasy. Is that really how friends look at each other? He tells her they could never be just friends. He swims closer to Tess, and slowly but surely, he kisses her. Melting with pleasure, Tessa can't pull away from his warm lips. Hardin pulls her close. They kiss passionately, as if they'd been waiting for this for a long time. Standing on the shore, the girl looks over his tattooed body. Hardin gently hands her her dress. So she can change, he politely turns away. Standing back to back with his muscular frame, Tessa feels something unfamiliar and shyly touches his hand. Hardin feels it too and turns to face Tess. He slowly runs a finger along her arm, brushes the wet hair from her face. His closeness makes Tessa's breath go unsteady. But why does she feel so shy at his touch? And then Hardin realizes nobody has ever touched her quite like this. Tessa asks why he stopped, but Hardin doesn't want to rush. What? They spend the evening together at a diner over burgers. Tessa asks him to tell her about his family, but Hardin doesn't want to talk, clearly a sore subject. So Tess starts batting her eyes at him. The cuteness is too much and Hardin gives in, promising to answer. But just one question. Tessa asks, why does he have all those novels at home if he doesn't believe in love? Hardin admits that he secretly dreams of love. Has he really dropped his mask in front of her? And then their conversation is interrupted at the worst moment by friends who've spotted them. They join the couple at the table. Jealous Molly starts poking at Tessa. How's your boyfriend doing? Hardin isn't about to let that slide. He announces they're leaving. Molly asks for a ride, but Hardin says no. But then she needs to tell him something, privately. Hardin hands Tessa the car keys and asks her to wait. After their talk, he catches up with Tessa at the bar. Tess has made a decision. She's going to tell Noah about them. Hardin couldn't care less about that and asks her not to drag him into it. Why has he become so cold with Tessa after talking to his friends? Then it suddenly turns out that relationships are against his rules. So what were all those kisses for? Tessa feels used. She throws his keys on the counter and walks away without a word. That evening, Tessa puts on stunning makeup and an unusually daring dress. But the tears welling up won't let her leave the house. At night, she imagines Hardin leaning over her bed. Has he really come for her? But it was just a dream? The next day, stepping out of college, Tessa is met by her boyfriend, Noah. Has he really come all this way with flowers just to surprise her? Tessa is of course happy, but why does she feel so awkward around her own boyfriend? That evening, the sweet couple heads to a student bonfire hangout. The whole crew is there, her roommate, the regulars, and Hardin with Molly. Tessa introduces her boyfriend to her new friends, but why does that make Hardin so angry? Molly can't sit still. She decides to start a game of suck and blow. Everyone sitting has to pass a piece of paper to the person next to them, but using only their lips. When it's Jace's turn to pass to Tessa, he deliberately drops the paper, which means he and Tessa will have to kiss. Tessa refuses, but Jace insists. Noah mumbles something unconvincingly under his breath, and then Hardin leaps up and knocks the guy off his feet. A fight breaks out, and the brave one gets punched in the face. Tessa is stunned. Why did Hardin step up for her when her own boyfriend didn't? Still, she spends that evening lying on the couch with Noah, watching Netflix and chilling, except Tessa's mind is somewhere else entirely. At night, thoughts won't let her sleep, and then Landon calls. Leaving her sleeping boyfriend behind, the girl slips away in the middle of the night. Landon's place is a complete wreck. Someone has trashed the whole apartment. Tessa asks, what happened here? It started with a conversation with his stepbrother about their father, and somehow Tessa's name came up. Was this Hardin? The troublemaker is sitting gloomily in the dark by the pool, and Tessa's appearance doesn't cheer him up. Why isn't she cooing with her perfect little boyfriend? Tessa thought Hardin didn't drink, but tonight is a special occasion. His dear daddy is getting married. Tessa thinks he's had enough to drink. In response, the bad boy smashes a bottle. Tessa rushes to pick up the pieces, but cuts her hand in the hurry. Hardin runs through the broken glass to help her. Inside, he carefully tends to her wound. Hardin apologizes for the way he's been treating her. Tess can't blame him for not wanting a relationship. But right now, he feels differently. He's just confused. And Tessa helps him figure it out with a shy but tender kiss. Hardin meets her with everything he has. They kiss like they've just found each other again. But things go further. Hardin kisses her neck, slowly moving down, and kisses her stomach. He asks Tessa not to shut him out anymore, and the girl melts under his kisses.
You will not lick me!
That evening, she falls asleep in Hardin's arms and wakes up beside him in the morning. God, she has 7 missed calls from Noah. Her boyfriend is worried and doesn't understand where she was all night. Tessa makes excuses, saying she had to help a friend. Her guilty face says it all. And then the friend himself appears behind Noah. The boyfriend can't believe he's been cheated on like this. Tess tearfully tries to explain, but Noah turns away from her. Tess didn't know how to tell him she was lost. But Noah quietly gets in his car and drives away from Tessa. It's over between them. Ignoring Hardin, the girl returns to the dorm. Her footsteps wake Steph. Tessa admits that she and Noah just broke up. Steph pulls her into bed and wraps her arms around her gently. A shoulder to cry on is exactly what a girl needs. Despite the personal drama, Tess doesn't forget about class. But Noah has told her mom everything, and now she's texting, "We need to talk." But Tessa ignores both her mom and the confused messages from Hardin. The girl needs time alone. But soon, Tessa pulls herself together and goes to find him herself. Hardin is sitting on the roof of the house when he spots her. Tess opens up to him. When her father left them, she was 10. He left her mother with nothing, and she fell apart. Tess had to take care of her, and Noah was her support. Now Tess hates herself for the way she treated him. Noah is her best friend, but Hardin means more to her than a friend. Could this actually be love? Later, Hardin finds her just before the library closes. The guy talks her into hiding inside. They manage to outsmart the security guard and the lights go out. That night, he reads to her out loud about love and ruin. But then a flashlight beam sweeps across. Time to run! The couple creeps along behind the bookshelves, but the guard spots them. Tessa and Hardin make a break for it, laughing as they go. This little adventure brings them closer together. They spend a lot of time together, sometimes maybe too much. Hardin won't even leave her alone during class. While Tessa studies the stars, Hardin is practicing kissing with her and convinces the girl to ditch class altogether. In his spare time, he's writing something in a notebook, and Tessa tries to take a look. But Hardin hides his notes and catches the cutie in his arms instead. Yes, they're kissing again. God, they just can't stop. But right at the crucial moment, Mom bursts into the room. She's caught her daughter with some upperclassmen. Is this the guy Noah told her about? So this is what Tessa's doing instead of studying? The furious mother takes Tessa aside to talk. Is Tess really willing to throw everything away for some guy? Tessa shouts that that's not what she's doing. But Mom orders her to break it off and focus on her studies. Tessa feels sorry for how her mother's life turned out, but she's going to live her own life the way she wants. The offended mother puts her before a choice. If she leaves now, she won't get another penny from her, because he is going to break Tessa's heart. But the girl lets her mother go. After hearing the situation, Landon also warns her it's better to be careful with his stepbrother. But Tessa is sure that he's different when he's with her. The bad boy picks Tessa up in his cool car as usual, but now she wonders, where has he been? Hardin is about to show her. He covers Tessa's eyes and leads her into an apartment. Tessa can't figure out whose it is. It belongs to a professor, a friend of his father's. She asked him to water the plants while she's away in Italy. It's amazing in here. And the first thing Tessa does is push the handsome guy onto the bed. Hardin dreams of a home where they could live together. When Tessa said her mom would stop helping her, he had to do something. They can live here until the end of the year, just Tessa and him. As a thank you, Tessa kisses him. She can't believe they're going to have their own little place. Now they have dinner together, have pillow fights, and simply enjoy life side by side. And of course they kiss. They can't go without kisses. Hardin takes Tessa on a date to the aquarium, but still can't quite believe that Tessa is his. The girl confesses nothing will ever change her feelings for Hardin. They seal their promise with a kiss. Later, Tessa convinces Hardin to go to his father's wedding reception. Now, he and Landon are officially stepbrothers. And here's the bride herself, Karen, thrilled to finally meet Hardin's girl. During a conversation with his parents, it comes out that Tessa is interested in the literary business. As it happens, Hardin's father has a friend who owns a publishing house. They offer to put in a word for Tessa about a job there. Hardin made a promise to Tessa that he'd behave himself tonight. Soon, his father gives a toast. A second life has begun. He's found a wife, gained a second son, and didn't forget to mention Hardin with a kind word too. It seems sweet, but Hardin has no love for his father. He grew up knowing a different man, a drunk. Tessa asks him to go easier on his father, but Hardin can't forget what happened. When he was 8, his father got mixed up with the wrong people at a pub. They came to the house to settle the score, but his father wasn't there. They found his mother instead. He still blames his father for her death. After the toast, Hardin snaps at his father and pushes for a confrontation. But Tessa steps in just in time and leads him out to dance. They spin on the dance floor, forgetting all the unpleasantness. In a wave of emotion, Hardin kisses her. Her love grounds this bad boy, and he's grateful for it. Without breaking the kiss for even a second, they slip away to their room. Tessa whispers that tonight, for the first time, she's ready for everything.
Nice.
After that night, they're closer than ever, even sharing a bath. Hardin writes the word love on her back. Tessa feels his confession without a single word. Has the bad boy actually fallen in love with her? Tessa keeps up with her classes faithfully, but her presence is driving Molly absolutely crazy. She catches the quiet girl in the bathroom. In their conversation, Tessa admits she and her boyfriend broke up. She got over it fast, because everyone already knows what Tessa gets up to with Hardin. Tessa doesn't take the bait and calmly walks out. That evening, a message from Molly distracts Tessa from her book. Meet at Bob's at 9. Then Molly forwards messages saying she misses him and is going to tell her everything. Is Hardin secretly seeing her? Tessa shows the messages to Hardin and asks, what is he hiding? He tells her he has nothing to hide, but then where is he rushing off to? He asks her to just trust him and leaves. Tessa spends the evening alone. She ignores Hardin's messages. His friend Jace texts that Hardin's phone died and he's asking to meet at Bob's. Tessa decides to go there and get to the bottom of this. Walking into the diner, Tessa spots Molly right away. She's sitting with a group of friends and Tessa joins them. Steph hasn't seen her since she moved out. Of course, she's living with Hardin now. Molly doesn't look pleased, and then Hardin himself shows up with Jace in tow. The two of them secretly plan to force the couple face to face. The jealous one is so happy that Hardin and Tessa have moved in together, but shouldn't he come clean to her first? Tessa directly asks what happened between him and Molly. She saw the messages, but those messages were just a trick by Molly. Since Hardin won't say a word, Molly decides to spill everything herself, or rather, to show it. On a video she filmed, Tessa turns Hardin down after the truth or dare game. But when the girl left, the humiliated guy made a bet that he could make Tessa fall for him, and then dump her. Was everything between them a lie? Hardin begs her to believe him. Back then he just didn't know her. From the look on everyone's faces, Tessa realizes they all knew about the bet, even her roommate. She feels completely betrayed and runs out. Hardin catches up to her outside. Tessa lets herself cry because none of it was real. Hardin cries too. In that moment, they both know it's over between them. Wait, but Tessa said nothing would ever change her feelings for Hardin? Which means they both lied. Despite the pouring rain, proud Tessa walks away. He can't believe he's just lost the love of his life like this. Crying against the bus window, Tessa realizes that Hardin has broken her heart after all. The girl goes home. Her mom opens the door in surprise. Despite everything, she's happy to see Tessa. It hurts the girl to talk about what happened. She simply apologizes to her mom and tells her she loves her. A mother's heart already understands everything. Tessa goes to the school stadium and finds Noah there. She asks for his forgiveness for hurting him. He sees that she's changed and holds no grudge. With a clean heart, Tess returns to college. She decides to change her major and writes to the publishing house asking about an internship. Meanwhile, Hardin tries to heal his wounds. He replays all the happy moments with Tess, mostly the kisses, and then he stumbles across the book. Tess receives a letter from the publishing house with an interview invitation. She walks into the publishing office while Hardin can't get her out of his head. Tess successfully finishes the semester, but the English teacher asks her to stay after. There's an essay she needs to see. It seems to be written more for Tessa than for the teacher. Has he really left her a secret message? Landon sits beside her as Tess finally works up the nerve to open the folder. and she is completely stunned by what she finds inside: a photo of their secret place and a portrait of her. And there's a letter written by Hardin. He admits he was always wrong about love. It's not just a fantasy from dusty book pages. Everything changed when he met his Elizabeth Bennet. She led him out of the darkness and proved that their souls are one. Thinking back to that strange feeling between her and Hardin that first appeared at the lake, Tessa returns to that very same place. Hardin has come here too, and quietly sits down beside Tess. In the essay, he confesses that he used to love only himself, but now he knows he loves only her. Tess, a kiss, and curtain